Hey guys, this is Dr. Callahan for Algebra 2, Semester 2, Week 19, Friday. How are you guys doing? This is your warm-up log. Go ahead and pause the video and answer the last 3 questions of your warm-up log. All right, so this is your QR code for period 3 for you to submit your warm-up log. Now, if you're in a different period, check Teams because I will be posting the link on there for the correct one. All right, so your warm-up log is due today. Before you guys leave, you need to make sure you turn in your warm-up log. Does anybody have a warm-up log they need to turn in right now? Because you don't want to hold on to it. You want to turn it in. And the only warm-up log I'll be grading is the one that's turned in. So what I do is I grab your physical purple warm-up log and I go, okay, this is Maria's. Now I'm going to go find your Google form, and then I'm going to go and give you guys the grade. So if you did the Google form, but you didn't turn the warm-up log, yours is not going to be graded. So make sure you turn in the warm-up log before you guys leave today. And that's just to ensure that you actually turn it in and not just go, oh, well, she'll just go to the Google form and then, that's that. I'm like, I've been doing this for a very long time. So I have all sorts of tricks up my sleeve of how to make sure that things get done. So turn in your physical warm-up log in class, or I should say before you leave. Dr. C will check your physical warm-up log, find your name on the Google form, and insert your grade, which is going to be out of 300 points. You must turn in your log. All right, so make sure you guys understand that. Okay, so everything needs to be turned in before you guys get the 300 points. Next Wednesday, that will be updated on your warm-up or on your gradebook for Infinite Campus. All right, so today is the 27th, which is your warm-up log. Then next week, you do not have school on Monday, so don't show up to school on Monday. I will see you guys on Tuesday. I will see you guys on that Wednesday. So you really just have like 2 days, and then that Thursday, which is 6/2 right here. This is the last day for you to turn any assignments in on Math Excel, any of the hard copies, anything in general, because I won't see you guys on Friday, which is the start of your final. You guys will have your final for period 1 and 2, but I will see you guys on the 6th, which is that coming Monday, and you will take your 3rd period class in this class at 7:45 in the morning. You could be 15 minutes late, although I suggest not because you're going to have less time on the test. Anything over 15 minutes late, you will not be able to take the test because it's then too late. When you guys come in here, backpack alongside the wall. The only thing that you can have on your desk is your answer scan drawn, your booklet that you can write in, your TI-84 calculator, and a number 2 pencil. Those are the only 4 things. Everything else needs to be put away. If you bring a cell phone, I will have to confiscate it and put it in the bin. You cannot have any of that on your person. No cell phone, no iPhone watches, no headphones. And I think that's about it. Yeah, those are the 3 things that you cannot have. All right. Your grades are out of 10, obviously. Your YouTube channel for this class, this weekend, I highly suggest that if you're like, well, I don't have my warm-up log anymore, so why would I need the YouTube channel? You probably need the YouTube channel for your instructional material, which is your study guide. So if you go down here, there are 90 videos, because I've taught you guys 90 classes now. If you start out week 18 Thursday, do you see where it says numbers 1 to 8? So I pretty much number it. Then it goes from 7 to 14, which oh, you know what? Probably because I didn't finish number 7. So 7 to 14, 15 to 24, 25 to 31, 32 to 40, and then 41 to 50, which was yesterday's stuff, and then today we'll continue on with that. Okay, so my goal is to finish your guide for you guys, your study guide, by Tuesday of next week. So that way you have a free day on Wednesday, and then we will continue on to the next part. What is your last name, my dear? Correct. Okay. So we turn in a log in, so we have yours to do that as well. But you definitely need to make sure you fill out the Google form. It's on Teams. Okay, so access Teams, fill that out, and then turn your mobile log in. All right, this is stupid. Like, why would you do a software update in the middle of class time? That's dumb. Anyways, this is your checklist right here. So warm-up log, you guys are officially done with that. So you don't need to be concerned with it anymore. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cross that out so I don't use it anymore. Let's see here, there we go. Okay, that one's done. Math Excel, which is something you should be doing. And then yeah, that's our study guide. That's it. That's your to-do list. So yesterday with the sub, you guys have question number 41. These were the questions I went over with you guys in class. And then I asked you guys to do number 46 of 50 and try it on your own because you had your, answer sheet and whatnot. So today I'm actually gonna go over number 46 with you guys just in case you didn't know how to do it. So this is our 7th day for the study guide. You do need to have TI-84 calculator and highlighter, so please come up here and grab that and then turn over to your study guide. Today we'll go over 46 of 55. I'm not sure if I'm going to finish 55, but we'll try. Monday is a day off for Memorial Day, and then when I see you guys on that Tuesday, I need to change this a little bit. That Tuesday, we will go ahead and do number 56 to the last one here. Hold on a second. Let's see. 67 is the last one. Whoops. Okay, so 56. Tuesday we'll start with 56 to 67, which is the end. And if we need more days, we'll have that Wednesday and Thursday as like a backup day to finish your study guide. But really, this is kind of it, you guys. This is the end. If you're a procrastinator and you're like, I'm waiting to the very end to get my work done, this is the end. This is it. Okay, you don't have any more time after this. So procrastination needs to stop now. You got to get your butt in gear and get your stuff done. All right, so with that said, let's start with 46. This is where you should be. Does anybody need a copy of this? Anybody need a copy of this? Anyone? Does anybody need a copy of this? Anyone? Okay. All right, so for number 46, this is which graph represents a function of that. Make sure you guys have a TI-84 calculator because you're gonna need it. So as I'm looking at this right here, I see that there's a +1, so it's gonna go up 1. I see there is a -4, so you're gonna go 4 to the right, okay? So looking at this, I'm like, which one matches that? And if you're not sure, this is where your TI-84 is gonna be your best friend because you're gonna grab your TI-84, which mine is not here yet, so give me a second. Here it is. There's my TI-84. You can turn it on. Y equals, and then you're gonna go ahead and graph this equation. So you're just gonna do parenthesis 1 divided by 3. And again, the way that you type this in does matter. You can't just type it in however you want. You have to do with parentheses. Then push the little caret for the exponent, x minus 4. Okay, but then you use the little right button to move that cursor down so you're not doing the power anymore. Then +1. And then hit graph. You can see how my graph, the window is a little bit off. So I definitely want to change my window because the y value right here for the y max is really, really high. And you can also change your window so it matches what you have for the answers. Do you see how your answers are like around 5s? So on my window, I'm definitely go down to the y max and change it down to like a 10 or something. So that way it condenses it down a little bit more. And then hit graph. And this is what your picture looks like. It's going, it's thinking. There we go. So then all you're gonna do is you're gonna take a look at the graph that you have on your paper or on your calculator. And then ask yourself, well, which one does it match this? All right, so looking at this right here, this is what you should have. If you look at it, do you see how this one just starts at 1 right there? So it's not going to be B, it's not going to be D, obviously, because it's a horizontal line on 1. And then this one is on the left side, so it's not A. So the only one that it could be is C as in cat. Okay, so that's one way that you can get this question correct. I think it's fairly easy. You just need to know how to graph your calculator, and that's it. Number 47, describe the domain and range of that. Okay, another way of doing this is you can go ahead and just graph it. So here's my calculator. I'm going to go over here, clear this one out, type this into your calculator. You have a 2, so push 2. But then you want to put parentheses around the 4. So you're going to put 4, close that parenthesis, do the little caret, x plus 3, move that little caret down, and then minus 6. So make sure you're inserting this into your calculator accurately, because if you insert it incorrectly, your graph is going to look really bad. And so we don't want that to happen. Okay, so then let's go ahead and hit graph. And here is your graph. All right. I'm going to take a snapshot of this and I'm just going to paste it back onto the PowerPoint. So that way you guys can see it and then tell me what is your range and domain. All right, so remember your domain is your x values. So where does your x value go? I don't know about you, but it looks like my x value is going to go maybe just up to -1, I think. Although I'm not 100% sure. I wonder if it's going to keep going this way. If you're not sure, what you can do is with your calculator, go to the window and then just move it over to the X max and maybe put 100. And so that way you can see where's that graph going. And it doesn't look like it's actually going anywhere besides that. Let's take a look at the answer. Okay, so in this case, I'm like, I wonder what it's going to be. So number 47, if you look at it, is going to give you a C as in cat. So then let's go back and see why that is the answer. Or I'm sorry, is it? Yeah, 47. There we go. Okay, so as I'm looking at this right here, so for my domain, it's going to keep going to the right side to positive infinity, and it's going to continuously go to the left side to negative infinity, right? But then what you want to look at is the -6 right here means that it's only going to go as low as the 6, -6, which is right here. Okay, so it doesn't go any further than -6. So your range is going to be from -6 to positive infinity. And so the only one that matches in this case is C as in cat, which is your answer. Although, let me see here. I wonder if it would change if I, hold on, insert parenthesis, insert parenthesis, insert parenthesis. Okay. All right, number 48. The population of a city is studied over time and modeled by this equation, where T is in time in years, and P right here is population. So how many people do you have after so many years? What happened to the population during the first 6 years of the study? Okay, so all you're gonna do is, your T is equal to 6. You're gonna put that right there in that equation. And again, you don't want to do this by hand because it's going to be a really big pain in the butt. So you definitely want to have a TI-84 calculator for this. So you're just going to use your TI-84 calculator right there. Okay. And you're just going to put 10,650 parenthesis 7 divided by 8, close the parenthesis, raise it up to that little exponent, and that little exponent is going to be 6. Okay. So that's where you're going to type into your calculator. And then from there, you're just gonna hit enter so you can figure out what your answer is. And what is your answer? 4,779 people. So look at the answer that is the closest to that. And I think the only one that works is going to be C as in cat. But just to make sure that this is the correct answer, I will just go over to the very end for the answer column. So number 48, or it's actually D as in dog. So then I did something wrong here. That's okay, because sometimes that happens. 8. Jeez. Let's see what happened in the first 6 years of the study. Oh, okay. You know why? Because I read this question incorrectly. Okay, so you started off with 10,650 people. After 6 years, what is your new population? That's your new population. So what does that say about the population? Your population went down, right? So it didn't increase, it went down. You started off with 10,000 people. Now in 6 years, your population is in 4,000, so it went down. By how many people did it go down? Well, you just simply take your calculator. So let me go ahead and bring that up. So you're gonna start off with 10,650 minus your answer. So you have to subtract it. So that's the part I didn't do. And then it gives that 5,870. So the correct answer is D as in dog, because your population did not go up. Your population went down. How far did it go down? It went down by about 5,800 people. So D as in dog is the correct answer, you guys. So D as in dog, okay? And notice how they ask you these questions. Like, it could be very tricky if you don't read the questions correctly. Like, I would have said, okay, it's C as in cat. And guess what? That would have been wrong. Okay, so just be careful in the way you read the questions. Number 49, find the function of V of t is the value in dollars of investment, depending on t and time in years. The rate, oh wow, that's a pretty crazy equation. So that's going to be your investment. Which statement best describe the value of investment in the new equation? Okay, so this part right here is your multiplier. Okay, if it's going to be a multiplier of 1, your investment is not growing at all. It's going to stay the same. Okay, if it's at 1.0064, what that means is that there is an increase to your investment, because if it's smaller than 1, then it's a decrease, but it's going up. So how much is it going up? Well, in decimals, it's 0.0064. This is in decimals. If you want to put that into percentage, then you just need to move this over by 1, 2, which is 0.64%. So C, the investment is increasing by 0.64% each year. They're doing this to see if you know the difference of how to convert decimals to percentages, and then also if you're able to read the equation correctly. And I personally don't think this one is really that difficult of a question, but you just have to make sure you read it correctly. If you're like, well, what if I don't know how to move my decimals? Well, here's the thing. Decimal to percentage, you just move 2 spaces to the right. If you're going from percentage to decimal, you just move 2 spaces to the left. Instead of doing that, another way that you can do this is you can either times it by 100 or divide it by 100. That's another way that you can change decimals and percentages. Okay, number 50. If you're simply looking at your cell phone and not paying attention to what you should be doing on the final, you're gonna have one hell of a time doing this on the test, you guys. And a lot of you guys have like a borderline grade of like a 60 to a 70. If you don't have that 75%, you don't have the safety grade to keep the grade in this class. And there's no curve after the final. So make sure you either raise your grade or just do really, really well in the final. And by doing really well in the final, you have to pay attention to what we're doing in class. All right, number 50, you want to invest $2,500 into a savings account. The bank gives you 3 options below. Which one will give you the highest return? Oops. Okay, so this is where you're going to use your calculator, okay? The P is going to be $2,500. The rate for A is 0.025 because everything needs to be in decimals. The rate for B is 0.035 because you're moving 2 spaces to the left. And the rate for C is 0.025. So now that I have the 3 different equations here, let's just use my calculator to find all 3 options. So I'm going to have to do all 3 of them. So with your calculator, let's start off with option A. With option A, P is 2,500. Oops, let's move that over here. 2,500 parenthesis, and do you see with option A, it's 1 plus R over N. So put the parenthesis 1 plus R over N. You need to make sure you have parentheses around the division sign. Your rate is 0.025 divided by the N. N is how many times it's going to be compounded, and this is quarterly. Quarterly means 4 because there are 4 quarters in a dollar. So divide by 4, close that parenthesis, close the parenthesis one more time, push the little caret for exponent, and then you do 4 times 4 years. So 4 times 4. Enter, and you are going to get the following, $2,762. So that's A, okay? Now let's go ahead and do this for B. B is the same equation, except the rate's a little bit different. So just 2,500 times 1 plus, do another parenthesis for the R divided by N. R is 0.035 divided by N. Monthly is how it's compounded. So N equals 12. So divided by 12, close your parenthesis, raise it up to the exponent. N times T is 12 times 3 years. Enter. You get 2,776. So option B right now is the highest one. Now I'm going to take a look at option C. This one is continuously, so it's the APERT, APERT formula. So then I'm going to do P, which is 2,500, times E. E is your second, LN. RT, R is your rate, 0.025 times T, whoops, which is 3 years. And enter. So looking at this right here, which one gives you the highest return? And I don't know about you, but I think option B might be it, because option B does have the highest number there. So B as in boy will be your answer. Oh, let me change that back over here. So this is option A, B, and C. B gives you the highest rate. B it is. And again, you could do all of these questions just on your calculator as long as you know how to use your calculator. You don't even have to do any of the equation work. Okay, number 51. An investment of $1 in an account that pays $100 annually interest for 1 year. As the number of compounding period increases, what value would the account get closer to? Okay, so again, it's talking about percentages. Okay, so if you have 100% and that's your percentage, you got to convert that to a decimal. And so 100 divided by 100 is going to give you a 1. And so let's just take a look to see what the answer is. So 51, if you just scroll down, number 51, the answer is D as in dog. So let's go back. Let's see. So maybe this is going to be the APERT one, APERT. So 1 is going to be here. E, your rate is obviously 1, and T is just going to be T. So let's go ahead and try to graph that equation into your graphing calculator. So Y equals, I'm just going to put E, 1 times E is just E, and then to the 1T, so it's just 1X, graph. Okay, so I don't like my window, obviously, so I'm going to change my window a little bit, if it allows me. Okay, so I'm going to change the window down here to a 10. Graph. All right, so you're going to trace this line to see where it goes to. So second calc or second trace, and we're just going to go to value, okay? So if the T becomes 1, enter. Your Y value is 2.71. Do you see that? Let's try this again. Trace. Well, what if instead of having 1 year, let's do 10 years? Enter. Oh, wait a second. Hold on a second. We're actually, we don't want to do 10 years. We just want to do around 1 year because it says it's going to be increasing for 1%. So just 1. So second trace, just 1. I'm going to do, actually, I was correct the first time around. So let's do second trace, 1, and we're just gonna type in 1. So type in a 1, enter. Need to move this way. Come on, move it up. There we go. And then what you get from here is you get a 2.7128, which is the closest one that you have that's available to that is D as in dog. So that one is correct. Here we go. Yeah. All right, number 52. Write an exponential function in the form of y equals that whose graph passes through this and this. Okay, so let's see. I actually don't know how to do this one. So I'm going to go back to number 52. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little star next to it and we will reconvene. Hold on a second. Okay, so let's try this. Your equation is this right here, right? And so you have xy, xy. I'm going to rewrite both equations. First one you have is y, which is 12.5 equals a b x, x is 2, right? That's your first equation. Then your second equation, which is this one right there, y is 312.5 equals ab to the 4th, like that. You are going to divide both of them. And I know you're like, really? Do I really want to divide them? Yes, yes, you do. Except you want to divide it so that way the bigger number is on top. So I'm going to do 312.5 equals ab to the 4th divided by 112.5 equals ab to the 2nd. When you divide this, do you see how the a just cancels? So that's done. And then you bring down up the 2. So what's 4 minus 2? It's b squared equals 312 divided by 12.5. So I'm just going to do 312.5 divided by 12.5, which is going to give you a 25. Equals 25. Well, that's easy. What is your b going to be? Isn't b going to be the square root of 25, which is just going to be 5, right? So you found your b, which is awesome. Let me just make sure I'm sharing this correctly. Yes, I am. Okay. So then your b is 5. So then in your equation right here, y equals a, b is 5 to the x. And then what you do is you just pick any point. Pick a point to use to find a. I'm going to pick the smaller point because it's just easier that way. Although if you use the other point, you'll get the same answer. So if I pick the smaller point, I'm going to put y, which is 12.5 equals a, which I'm trying to find right now, b to the x, x is going to be 2. 5 squared is going to give me a 25. So 25a. How do I get a? I divide it by the 25 on both sides. And a is equal to, grab your calculator, 12.5 divided by 25 is going to give you a 0.5. So your a is going to be 0.5. You have a, you have b. So now that you're completed with this equation, y is equal to a is 0.5, or another way of writing 0.5 is just 1/2, b, which is 5 to the x. And which one does that match? I don't know about you, but I think the only one that matches this equation is b as in boy. And that's how you'll solve for this one. Okay, so this is an interesting one because I actually haven't done a question like this in a while, but the power of Google will help you solve anything, it seems like. All right, let's do number 53, and I think I'm good with that, and then I'll have you guys just take a break. All right, number 53. If $7,000 invested at a compounded continuous, so I'm going to use a PERT, keyword is continuous, what amount of time will be needed to have a balance of this much right there using that formula? So given the fact that it asks you amount of time, your goal here is to figure out what T is. So your 7,000 is going to be your P, 7,700 is your A. So you're going to set up your equation like this. 7,700 equals 7,000. E to the R is 0.07 because that's your rate, T. Your goal is to figure out what T is. And you can do the whole thing just by using your calculator. So let's take our calculator right here. 7,700. So that's the first thing you put in your calculator. You want to divide it by the 7,000 to get rid of the 7,000 because I want to get T by itself. So that gives you a 1.1. Then do you see where there's an ln right there? I'm sorry, the E right there on the right side. To get rid of that E, you got to ln both sides. So I'm going to do ln 1.1, enter. Then you bring down the 0.07 T down. So what's opposite of a 0.07 times T? Opposite of a times is a divide. So you're going to divide it by 0.07. And T is going to give you 1.36 years. So with this question type, it's actually not multiple choice. This is called a fill in the blank. So on your test, you will have fill in the blank questions. So in which case, what you'll do is you just put 1 or positive. 1, because it has to be a positive. You can't just put 1 there because there's no options of 1. Dot 3, 6, 1. I guess you can round it up 6 like that. And then you just fill in the bubbles. You got to fill in the bubbles though. So this is a fill in the blank type of question. Okay, maybe we could do one more because we still have like 10 minutes, guys. So we have time. All right, number 54. Okay, so it is asking you to graph this, and then it's inverse. So remember, the inverse is like you draw a straight line like that. If this is your star, you got to flip that number over here, and that's the inverse. Okay, got to flip it over that diagonal line. All right, so y is equal to, remember, if it's not log a base of 8, you got to do log of x over the log of 8. Remember, that's how you write it if it's not in the base of 10. So let's graph that and see what it gets us. So y is equal to, and I'm just going to type in log x, close parenthesis, divided by log 8, close parenthesis, and graph. All right, so that's your graph right there. That's what it looks like. Now, imagine you flip it over on the diagonal. What would your diagonal look like if you flip it over? If I draw my diagonal like this, so here's my diagonal, and I flip this one over this way, I think it will look something like that. So as I'm looking at this, like, which graph looks like that? I think C as in cat is the only one that is even remotely close to it. So that will be my answer. And it is, I checked it, 54 is C as in cat. All right, so you guys can tell that we have just a few more answers left. So today we stopped at number 54. So I'm gonna make a notation of that so that way I remember that next time. If you're like, I kind of was working on my warm-up log today rather than doing this, that's okay. You can still watch the video and get that done. So when I see you guys on Tuesday, we'll start out with number 55 and we'll try to finish number 64. And then on Wednesday, we'll continue with 65 to 67, which is gonna be the end, okay? So we'll have one extra day on that Thursday to kind of finish everything, but this is kind of where we go. All right, for those of you guys on Zoom, I hope you guys have a wonderful week and I will see you guys next time.